What would a world premiere be without a bunch of problems, right, guys? Hey, welcome to the first ever Delmarva Antique Truck and Tractor Pool podcast. And we are just bear with us. A couple of the people are having some technical difficulties, and we'll get through them. Okay, these guys logged back in again, so they got something else going on. Okay, just bear with us real quick. We got to get everybody straightened out here. Richard, can you hear us now? Evidently not.
Showing his microphone's off on the screen there beside his name.
Okay. Yeah, you're muted, Richard. Remember, this is a family show. Might be a reason it's muted. Uh-oh. Okay. You're still muted. Look down below at the bottom and unmute your microphone. Gosh, there's somebody else coming in. Okay. Okay, that one's working. I can hear you on the new screen here.
Yeah, when all else fails, go backwards.
There you go. That one works. I'm going to cut your other screen out.
There you go.
Just bear with us, guys. We'll get going here in just a minute.
Okay. We can't erase that. Okay. There you go.
Okay. So here's what we have. I'm not going to say a whole lot. I'm going to pretty much turn this over to Richard. Richard's this is his show. I'm just going to sit back in the back, and hopefully everybody has no more technical difficulties. But we do have Brian Lester, who you hold a position with the Southwestern Antique.
Yes, sir. They just elected me chairman of the board at our last meeting, and kind of look forward to getting the year started and playing with tractors.
Awesome. Okay. And we have Nicole Morrison all the way over to the side there. She's with the Mason Dixon Antique Pullers here locally. And she's got some information to give to us. She's also having some video feed problems, but we'll just be patient and we'll let her do her talking here shortly. And Brian Rutrough. I'm going to pronounce your name properly tonight. I'm going to respect you.
Yeah.
How's Brian tonight?
Good.
Yeah, Brian's been with us before in the past, and I'm sure he'll have plenty of information, along with Brian Lester, to lead into the Chatham, Virginia event coming up. And, of course, the other two guys need no introduction. Richard McIntyre, who's president of the Delmarva Tractor Pullers, and Olan Simpkins. And wow, I don't know where that's coming from, but that's loud. But Olin's just plain ornery, so. But anyway. So everybody can hear everybody, and everybody can speak and be heard, I guess. Yes, no?
Yes. You think we got all that worked out now?
So far, so good.
Cheers.
Okay. Okay, Richard, I'm going to turn it over to you and Olin, and you guys, want to take care of Nicole and whatever else you want to talk about. So,
we're going to start.
It's all you, buddy.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, so how I get sucked into this, I'm not real sure. This is Olin and JR's brainchild of basically his.
It's that guy sitting beside you. It's that guy sitting
that guy sitting beside me? On that side?
Mr. Henry.
They're backwards.
Yes.
The whole idea of what we're trying to do is more talk about different clubs, what's out there in antique pulling, have some real outreach and spirited discussion about kind of what everybody's doing. Antiques don't tend to have the center stage in a lot of things, so instead of trying to take the stage, we'll make them their own stage. There's I hate it when Daryl does that. What's he doing?
No, go ahead. I'm busy taking care of stuff behind the scenes here, so I'm probably going to disappear, but I'm still here. You guys talk, ask the questions you want to ask, and get with Nicole about Mason Dixon, all that stuff. I'm still here. You just may not see me for a few minutes.
Okay, so we will get through this first show.
You're fine.
Promise.
One way or the other. It actually sounds good. Yep. You're good.
Basically, tonight we're going to start with kind of let Nicole talk about.
Let's finish up more.
Well, what happened? You finish up on the first. I'll keep reading the quotes.
But I can't read them, so you just stay asleep.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, in antique tractor pulling, a lot of times tractor pulling on the antique side is localized and thought concept, which is good because the localization is what pays the antique pullers' bills at the local level. But when it's actually said and done, there's a lot more work going on than your little local pull. And antiques, there's things have come about in the last years which have made it very exciting in antique pulling. And Chatham is an example, with the bracket pulling going on there. This year is team pulling. And then you have your local pool, and Nicole, the local pool, is trying to change a little bit, make some structure change. She actually represents two pools. Nicole does, a Fawn Grove, PA, and Delta. Delta considered PA, isn't it? I believe it is, Nicole.
Yes, it is.
You
She's
there?
really delayed, so I'm just
Yeah.
going to save it aggravation. Yeah. It is Delta.
She trying.
Okay. It is Delta, it's PA. There's a lot of variants of polls across the country, and we've seen some of these variants, and we like to talk about them because all the variants can help organization that's struggling to be in existence. Maybe they can pick up some of these concepts and move on and keep antique pulling alive and moving well. And we have multiple speakers throughout the series that we're going to try to run from different areas. Talk about how they have achieved or how they're working to achieve unity amongst groups, rules, teching, or even what unique games they play in antique pulling, whether it is DoubleTree, even asphalt pulling is part of it, whether it's stone boat pulling, whether it's the bracket pulls, whether it is team pulling, or what classes they run to meet the needs of the local pulls that they do. Could be cut, uncut. There's a lot of differences out there, and we want to talk about it. And then we want to talk about some tech options, not saying that you have to go that direction, but there's options out there in tech. So if we'd like to talk some with the Chatham bunch, we got Brian down there, and we got two Brians actually. And Chatham is a case in point, and with the Southwestern Pull organization is a great case in point of what's happened in the last 5 years there with changes that have occurred. And let's ask the Bryans to talk about that for a minute. What changes have in 5 years occurred in your group with pulling?
Well, first off, I want to say, Tommy he's done a great job at getting Chatham together and all that. The bracket pull, I think, was kind of sort of his brainchild. That bracket pull, I don't want to say put us on the map, but it got a lot of outside guys to come there, and they like, when you come to a Southwest pull, everyone is treated fairly. Everybody that rolls across the scales, we call him Uncle Roy, Danny Ferguson's brother. He does such a good job of what he does. Everybody that comes to pull with us gets a fair playing field. The best, we try to handle that the best we can. The whole Chatham deal, I know Tommy puts a lot of hours in on that. I'm sure there's others that do too. That's I'm just now this will be my first year kind of seeing how things, getting in there and seeing how things kind of really run. But it's a lot of work to it. It's not days of planning, it's months of planning. And they do, Tommy does very well with getting all that lined up and from this everything about that Chatham deal, everything, it just seems to work so smooth. Everybody, just last year was my first year. My son was born there. I had surgery last year, but the positive feedback, I never heard anything negative about that whole weekend. And we look, hopefully that'll continue on this year. You know, we've got some different board members and stuff, and you know, we look forward to another good time. You know, we all like playing with tractors.
Tell us about the building and the location. How the building structure, your parking, your inside parking, you run 2 sleds. Tell us registration, even t-shirt sales. Tell us about all that.
Brian, go ahead, buddy.
Well, first thing I want to do is, Chatham, the bracket pull helped put our club on the map. But I tell you, EE Pulling really brought the whole East Coast up to where it needed to be. Before, the East Coast pulling world was pretty much non-existent, and can't thank him enough for coming. Don't be laughing. It's you're in the antique world, you're a hero.
I appreciate that, but you guys are my heroes, man. I've had a good time in Chatham for 2 years, and I hate to say it, I'm not going to be there this year, but I told the Agee boys to please don't forget me for next year. So, unless a miracle comes up, I could be there, but we'll see.
Well, so the facility is the agriculture facility in Pennsylvania County. They have horse shows. They have indoor motocross. They have cattle shows. It's supported by the county, and those folks down there have really done a phenomenal job of supporting us to make it happen. Last year was the first year they had put TVs screens above the track, so the pullers don't have to run up and bother anybody. They can look up above them and see where they need to be when they need to be there. You can tell what class, you can see who's in the lead.
The distance too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
it shows everything. Our
Placing and
our
distance.
ladies that do keep up the distance, when they put it in, what distance you pulled, it shows up on the screen above, and nothing but positive feedback out of that. But the facility it's a fairly new facility. I'm not sure how old it is, but it's right off of, I mean, literally you turn off of Route 29 right into the parking lot. It's if you drive by it, you've got your eyes closed. There is as far as the parking, there's a big lot behind, and there is a barn behind there that you can park tractors in. There's like a shed on the end where you go into the track that you can park tractors in. And if I'm not mistaken, they have built a new building on the backside of the property that we can use too. Excuse me. So
A lot of people parked in the livestock barns last year too.
yeah,
Then the aisleways and stuff like that. Any kind of event like that, you just hope for, even if it's indoors, you hope for good weather, because it's nothing worse than, your tractor having to sit outside, having to deal with rain. We just so hope it's not going to rain. But the parking got tight last year. We had a lot of people there. I was asking about that, and I do think they have some sort of overflow parking there we might could use. But I think it's going to be another great event this year.
Will pullers be allowed to arrive at all hours of the night and get parking, or would the place have a closed time during the night?
No, there's no gates there that I know of. I know they're going to charge admission this year, but I think we don't see any of that money. I think they just want the complex takes in that money, from what I understand.
If a puller arrived at midnight, they'll be able to get in with their truck and trailer. Correct?
Yes, there's no gates out front that I saw every time I've been over there. There's no gates in that I saw.
Yeah,
So,
there is a gate
Pullers like to
there,
know that.
but I think they will leave that open starting Wednesday night.
That's on the right. If you're standing in the middle of the road facing the building, that's off to the right, isn't it?
No,
the
it's
gate's right there.
off to the left where
Is it to the left? Okay.
they set up their admissions right there, and those folks are charging you. I think it's. I don't want to quote a price, but they're charging each day, or you can buy a 3-day pass. That has nothing to do with us. That helps them support, their stuff, and anything they have got there, equipment wise, we use it. They give us run of the place basically. So that helps them keep their costs down.
Okay. Brian, tell us about your announcers. They're a pretty unique bunch you got there.
Brian would know more about them. Yeah, but they're really cool. I think they're a Mennonite. I know the one, he's kind of a Mennonite fella, isn't he, Brian?
Yeah, there is Matthew and Bradley and Charles. And Matthew and Bradley are auctioneers, and Charles is the president of the Father's Day show that we have on Father's Day weekend. And they click together. One knows what the other one's going to say and has a response to it before it's ever said. So they do, and they are equal opportunity. They will pick on anybody. So Richard, have your pink tutu ready because they're coming after you.
All right. Let's skip off of the pink tutus and go to registration. Tell everybody how registration is done with your pool.
You want to do it, Brian?
Well, we've got Tammy Sloan, and she the bracket pool. I think we've got to be signed in by what time? I
think it's 9 or 9:30.
Now I think 9 o'clock. The women do such a great job there. If we didn't have them, I don't know what we would do. They've been asked, I think, to assist in other pools in other places, but the sign up, I think it starts. Oh gosh, it's 9 o'clock. No, it'd be probably about 8 o'clock every day, 8:30, 9, something like that. But they run. They'll have their separate tables there. One will be registering, one will be giving you your numbers, one will be taking money. I mean, you're in and out of there in no time. They've always been very good at that.
It's not pre-registration. It's not pre-registration. Registration starts at 9. Its first 64 is in, correct?
Correct.
I think registration starts at 8. I think.
Mm-hmm.
8. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Tommy did say 8 o'clock last night.
And team pulling would be done a similar way.
I think the team pulling we will.
And
I'm not sure. I haven't talked to Tommy about that to find out whether we will register for that before the bracket pool. I would say it'll be after the bracket pool. We'll just take a recess and sign up for the team pool. But one registration,
you can sign up for all 3 days or just one day at a time.
You can sign up after the bracket pool sometime and after the team pulling, or what maybe while the team pulling's going on. I think they'll be open for a couple hours, and then Friday morning, and you can sign up for Friday and Saturday. But to go up there on Thursday morning and try to get a bracket pool done and get your registration done for all 3 days, I think that'd be asking a whole lot of the ladies.
It would be, but pullers like to know how to go about doing things, and other groups are taking notes from what you're describing, and they're listening. So it's about this is as educational as well as what you're doing and how you get through it.
And I tell you something I noticed, and I think 2 or 3 of us talked about after last year, when you're up there in line, and most of the pullers do a tremendously good job at this. But when you're up there in line signing up, if the ladies are there signing you up, taking money, if you're all gathered around their table and talking, it's easy for them to get distracted. or, it takes away from what they're doing. So if one at a time goes up there, it makes it flow. So they can take your money, sign you up, go on. And that is one big thing that has helped us. For the most part, everybody's done that.
Yeah, it's pretty much
Very
single file
good.
register. Pay your money out the door. That Tammy and Caitlin and I know
Tell us
John's
about
wife,
your sleds this year.
We have
Go ahead.
the decision maker sleds, the mini, what they call it, the mini rod
Mini rod
sleds
sled. Yep.
will be on the 4 mile an hour side, and the sled that Logan runs will be on the 6 mile an hour side.
And which sled would probably be on doing the bracket and team pulling?
Probably Logan's sled, the big one.
The big sled.
Yeah.
Okay, just curious. Just have to ask.
Yeah.
You expect to be done at a reasonable time every day? Everybody get to dinner and stuff like that is what your plan is, I suppose.
Yep. We
I'm just asking. I asked him
We don't want that till
because
3 o'clock. in the
we
morning.
got dinner bets on here. We got dinner betting going on. So
well, if
Tommy Agee is clarifying that registration starts after the bracket pull for team pulling.
okay, is that what it says?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. If you can see it on the bottom of your screens there, yeah.
if we're there past 8 o'clock, which I hope we're not, but if we're there past 8 o'clock, there's one of two things. We've either had a breakdown or we've had one heck of a turnout. So, that hopefully we don't have no breakdowns.
All right. Well, while we're talking about getting done and dinner, talk about some of the local possibilities for going out for dinner and stuff. It's a big pool. Everybody likes to know where to go. A lot of times I don't know where to go. Tell us about the local opportunities.
Let's see. There's Mama Rose's, which is right across from from the Hilton, I believe. There's a Mexican restaurant. There's pizza. Most everything is within a 10 to 15 minute drive of real good food. And if you go and all the places are full, there's always a drive-through at McDonald's.
Well, there's a Dairy Queen there close
And
by.
you have food available during the pool?
Yes, we have.
You have a food trailer at the pool?
Yeah, the facility actually has their own food vendor that comes in, and it is excellent food.
I just got a text here. There will be a listing.
So bring their own crock pots.
Tammy just sent me a text that there will be a listing in their packet for the restaurants around that are local. So you'll have a list of restaurants when you register, I guess, for the bracket pool and you're pulling for the weekend. So there'll be a list of restaurants and
That'd be nice.
Dan will-
Thank you, Miss Tammy. So you often get asked when you talk to a local organization and the local pullers and are asked why leave my local sandbox and go to a big pull. And that's a subject that comes up a lot of times. You have pullers just to pull one full fair every year. Why go out and make this trip? That's could be, a new adventure. Richard, you remember the first time you went on a road trip? Yeah. Why? You asked why, and what do you know now as to why? Tell them a little bit how the why changes as you go out and stuff.
Speaking for Chatham in particular, the hospitality, the guys and girls that you'll meet down there, the competition's great, the pull flow's good, the track taken care of. You'll meet people probably 13 or 14 and probably one from Canada. you'll have experiences you can't get at the county fair, for one, and two, hopefully you make memories and relationships that continue on for years after your first trip to an apple somewhere. And some of it feeds over, you bring it back with you, it feeds over into your own clubs. It much like all last night, Chatham really is one of those things. If you've never done it, you really should. You get to see, if you're involved in running your own clubs, you get to see how they do distribution different, how lineup runs different. You can really learn a lot and improve not only your own tractor pulling club.
You can see tractor setups that are entirely different you're used to seeing.
That's for sure.
You'll get, okay, maybe you're not used to running against deer. Well, the deer herd's pretty big in Chatham. You get to experience a pretty good sized deer herd. And if you have a deer, you get to find out how you fit in the pecking order of deer. Okay. If you run RD class tractor, you get to run with other RDs. Whereas at home, you might not see one. Or you run Moline, you get to run with the other Molines. You might not see but one Moline at home. And them opportunities of running against peer tractors, where at home you might not have, it's great. Or if you're running on the uncut side, you got a pretty good selection over there. Nicole, I believe your son's tractor was in Chatham last year. Does it get to go back this year?
I don't know if he's going to make it that far yet.
How about your son? Does he get to make it?
If he wants to, he can go down.
That's good. He'd enjoy it.
Hey, come here. He's right here.
Don't be shy.
Is he listening in? Is he listening? Put him in the mic. There you go. Introduce him, Nicole. Introduce him.
This is my son, Devin. His tractor's known as Black Betty. That's been everywhere.
Well, bring it on to Chatham. You'll have another Black Betty to pull against. The young man there by the name of Jaden.
It was there last year.
We'll have to
Yeah,
see
I think there's a slight size difference there between the two tractors.
I was going to say, you're
But,
talking,
you know,
Jaden. My goodness gracious.
He's almost as tall as Jaden.
Boys might be the same size, tractors aren't.
Yeah, the boys might be the same size tractors are. Yeah, but I think he would enjoy meeting Jaden Sloan for the first time. I think it'd be good for him and good for Jaden. See another young puller in the same with the same desires.
One more time.
Say it one more time, Nicole, please.
Maybe we'll make it down at least for the show. Maybe not the pool.
Oh, if you come, you got to bring a
Well,
tractor.
that's good.
Well, she could drive one down. Somebody's down there.
Well,
You bring the right money, I'm sure you can buy one down there.
Hey,
hell
she could
no.
She could take
Just
the
to get
video
there.
cameras.
Yeah, there you go. I'll take the video camera
Just to
down,
get-
JR.
oh yeah. There you go. Progress being made.
Now that we got Nicole talking a little bit, this really is kind of the tale of two cities. One's a well-established club that knows where they're going, what they want to do. Nicole, you're kind of on the other end of this deal. You're kind of
Yeah.
starting out trying to figure out what you want to do.
Well,
Yes,
you
we
ask
are.
questions of Southwestern on how they got where they're at.
Try it again.
Would you like to ask some
just-
questions, Nicole?
Let me just say something here real quick, guys.
What are you doing, JR?
Whenever somebody's done talking, just give a few seconds before you decide to talk, because there's a little bit of delay and sometimes you're talking over one another. That's all.
Our studio man is letting
Oh,
us down.
now we're getting advice finally. Okay.
So, as Olan said, Nicole, first off, you got some of the best there is there on the other side of the satellite feed when it works. I'm sure they'd be happy to help you kind of work through the growing pains, give you some advice, what went where, how, like Olan said, these guys can certainly tell you how they went from where they were to where they are.
And if you get down there and you get with the registration people, they'll show you another whole side of what's going on for a big pool. Now, you do registration very well in Delta, but it'd still be nice to talk with them and what they go through and how they got their group organized. So, but if you have questions, you got them right here, and they will answer them.
Devin, I don't think you have a choice but to go now. You've been offered a ride in Chatham.
Absolutely. It's a bargain.
That would be Mr. and Mrs. Foster.
Oh,
Wouldn't be a ride I'd turn down. I'll put it to you that way.
a tractor ride.
A tractor
You
ride.
can drive a tractor down the track when you get there.
There you go, bud.
Can't beat that.
And they're red, correct? Foster's, they run red tractors, right?
Absolutely.
That's real red right there.
Sorry, Brian.
If it's not red, he's not
Brian's
driving.
Well, with the Foster bunch, you won't have to worry about that. It'll be red.
You never know, before the night's over, might get you a ride down too. Transportation. You never know. Somebody might say, hey, listen, we're going. You're close. You never know. Time will tell. But it'd be nice if Nicole got there herself too.
Yes, it would. She'd learn a lot.
I know Nicole has a bunch of dates, I guess, and some other information that she would like to share with us. And I'm not trying to butt in or cut anybody out real quick, but
Sounded a lot like it though, didn't it?
Yeah, that was a butt.
That was a butt. But anyway, that butt is okay.
you got 5 minutes, Olan.
JR is right.
Kidding. I'm only kidding.
That's good.
JR is right. One of the reasons, anyway, Nicole is here. I know she's got some dates she wants to share with I guess whoever's actually on the feed. Go away, Greg.
Wow.
Greg Rumley.
Hello, Greg.
Argentina.
So
boys.
basically, Nicole, good Lord, kind of get your put your schedule out there. Let the world know what you're thinking.
Talk to us,
All right.
Nicole.
Well, we have 2 from Fawn Grove. Saturday, June 24th. We will be running our fast classes at Fawn Grove like we did last year, starting at the 2,500 pound class, 6 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour, and open. And that will be with Dale Zimmerman's sled, same one we had last year. We're going to try it again. We're going to start at 3:00 on that day. Sunday, the 25th of June, is our regular antique pool at Fawn Grove, same as normal. Then we go over to Mason Dixon, a couple miles up the road. Saturday, April 29th is our first pool of the year. That is our test and tune. We plan on starting at 10:00 there. 3.5 mile an hour, 6 mile an hour for antiques, as well as 6 mile an hour classics. We have Saturday, June 17th. That is our regular pool as well. Our fair pool is Wednesday, July 12th, starting at 6 p.m. We will have 2 sleds running that night, like we always do. And then July 14th, we have the fair truck pool. And we are also doing an invitation only for 8 mile an hour, 12 mile an hour, and open antiques. So that's where Richard and Olan come into effect.
Cool.
We can go that weekend. We have a gap.
We have a gap that weekend. Yeah, we might show up.
I talked to Richard about it the other night.
I
August,
actually get to be in town that weekend.
Okay.
I'm good.
Cool.
Jerry gets coming that weekend too. Video. Oh, video time.
I was just thinking, yeah, she's at this time. Yes, I'll be at Delta. Yes.
we
You
have
can
another
make Delta,
one.
but you can't make Chatham.
Delta's 4.5 miles from home, buddy.
And,
If something happens, I can jump up over the hill and I'm home. So
We have one August 12th.
What
We're
would
hoping to do a private pool. And then September 23rd is another anti-classic pool. And October 21st and 22nd, we'll be running a fall harvest event. We will have a pool on one of those days. Still more details to come with that one. And that's it for us right now.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that's it.
you don't get off
That's
anywhere
all the
close to that
excitement?
easy.
Well, I mean, I also have the truck pools too, but we're doing tractors tonight.
That's right. We'll bring you on the other show for the truck pull
So-
stuff.
Okay, deal.
And the contact person is?
So for one, that was a lot of dates rattled off. Is there a Facebook page or a website page that they can go to if they want to actually look that up?
Yes.
Because Lord knows
Our
I'll forget by the time this podcast is over.
JR posted in our Facebook group, the Mason Dixon Fairground Antique and Classic Tractor Pools. It has an Alice Chalmers as the profile picture. That is our new group. That is the one we keep updated. And this will be on there after tonight. I waited till tonight to share all the dates, so everybody got them at the same time.
On Richard's world premiere. See how important you are?
Yep.
Important.
Here we go with world premieres again.
All right.
More like world premiere train wreck, but
No, this
Just,
ain't a trade. It's going fine.
just-
It's going fine. You're doing fine.
As a FYI, Greg Grimley will be our guest next month talking about Harrisburg. And the poll going on the, what's it, the 23rd of March.
yes, it's the
He'll
end.
be our
I
guest.
have flyers.
We're not sure who else will be our guest this time. Yeah, you have a flyer.
You have a flyer you can
Ray
share
Kaufman
on the
sent me
screen?
2 flyers. I'm getting ready to share. Yep, I'm gonna bring them up while you're talking.
But he'll be talking about Harrisburg, and he'll be talking about how they're working on scheduling and homogenizing rules and dates in the northern part of PA. And it's quite a challenge, but he'll be talking about that and what they're working at. And we're trying to do the same thing in Delmarva with pools near us. And so it's something to be talked about as a learning thing, work together to get our dates and sing and we're pulling. So that's why he'll be coming on next month, and we look forward to that. Where's that flyer at?
Put the flyer up, JR. We'll keep talking.
Yep.
Olan touched on one part of it's thinking. Olan touched on one part of not hope to
Your signal's really breaking up there, guys. Oh, I think we lost them, didn't we? Yeah, they're doggone it. Anyway, I'm showing the Mid-Atlantic Antique Tractor Super Pool. That will be 1 week after the Keystone Nationals at the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania Farm Show Complex in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Okay, they're back. 1 second, I'll get them back on here. Nope, they're going again. Yeah, their signal was really starting to get broke up there pretty good. I knew it was coming. So, anyway, I guess Nicole, is there anything else you wanted to add? You said anything from Fawn Grove, just the one date, or
Fawn Grove is just the 2-day weekend, the 24th and the 25th of June. I was actually just confirmed this the other night, so it was a last minute thing to add.
Gotcha. I didn't hear the 25th. I heard the 24th, but not the 25th. Okay.
Yeah, the 25th is our regular.
I guess we're back.
We're back.
Yeah,
But
go
the
ahead,
24th
Nicole.
Are
will
we
be
back
the
live?
5th. They'll be
Yeah,
the
you're
5th.
back. Hold on, guys. Yeah, Nicole's talking. Go ahead, Nicole.
The 24th is the 6 mile an hour, the 10 mile an hour, and the open classes at Fawn Grove. And then we'll be running the trucks after that.
Okay. Kind of was asking about can you live in the phone? That's some questions.
Are we back? We good?
Yes, you're back. Yes. Yep, Nicole was just filling us
Okay.
in on some information for Fawn Grove.
Well, that's good.
Your signal's
Well, why don't
your
you tell us
signal's
some more
breaking up
about
really
Fallen
bad,
Grove?
guys. Did you hear that, Nicole? They want to hear some more about Fallen Grove, Nicole. I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
Richard's never been there.
Fallen Grove is
Never
what,
been
like 5 miles up from Mason Dixon? Not much further. Like Olan said the other night, the parking sucks. Not gonna lie. But it's a really good track, and we have Dale Zimmerman's sled running fast and open tractors. We did the jackpot classes last year. I'm sure we'll be doing that again. And that is June 24th.
Okay. Yep, they disappeared again. It's going to be an in and out for them. They're having a heck of a time with the internet service there, I guess. I have another flyer here from Ray for the Mid-Atlantic Tractor Super Pool. Okay, you're back, Olan.
Hello.
Yep, you're back.
Hello.
Maybe. Yes.
Hello.
I guess they can't hear us.
We back on?
Yes.
Now we can.
Yep,
Richard,
you're good.
go ahead with the other thought back.
Okay. In the 10 seconds of maybe you can hear me, that was actually, Olin started a good point when he was talking about clubs working together and trying to not only share dates, but one thing we've done in Maryland, and hopefully it spreads north and it spreads south and hopefully west, but it can't go east. What we've tried to do is not only communicate with the other clubs as far as dates, but we've actually tried to work together with rules and classes, and not necessarily become the same, but have 2 or 3 crossover classes that kind of, you don't have a re-engine tractor to necessarily fit in a 6 mile an hour or even a small tire class or even a stock class.
You don't have to jack your tractor up, change your tires overnight.
Yes, because I get really tired of changing tractor tires. That Nicole, I know, kind of, at least the one time I did make it to the one pool, there was a lot of more 3.5 mile an hour stock tractors. If I'd like to see that increase in the area, both for you and for us. There's still a lot of good quote unquote stock tractors out there.
Stop appearing.
Yeah, well,
Stop appearing.
anybody tells you they have a bone stock tractor, you need to find them a polygraph test. But point blank, that's kind of where we started. That's one part I don't want to see die around here. Hopefully, if we travel to you, we can get some of your tractors to travel down at least a few pulls a year.
I plan on having a meeting with our poolers in the next couple weeks and trying to pick at least one of your guys' dates to the majority of us can go down.
And yes, we definitely are on a peninsula.
Yes, explain Peninsula. Tell them.
Anybody that went to at least grammar school that doesn't know.
Well,
what
they might
peninsula
not
is,
know about the
something's wrong.
C&D Canal.
They know about the C&D Canal because they can't seem to find their way across it.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, Delmarva actually really is truly a peninsula. We're surrounded by water. Go to the north. To get to the north, we have to cross the C&D Canal. It's a man-made one. Go to the east, we got Chesapeake Bay. Go to the west. No, the west is the East Chesapeake Bay. East is the Delaware Bay and the ocean. So, and to the south, we got the Bay Bridge Tunnel. So we have Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia. Therefore, Delmarva, which encompasses Delmarva. And our travel corridor is pretty much Pocomoke, way within 5 miles of Virginia, to Cecilton, which is Indian Acres, and Delaware State Fair to Tuckahoe. So, we're all of Delmarva. We travel a good bit of distance.
And you can find at least one that's a little closer to you. I mean, you talk the north one to the south one, you're talking an hour and 20, hour and 30 minute change.
Almost two.
As
far as this distance. We run this truck and this sled.
How far are
It's 2
you
hours.
from us? Olan, how far are you guys from us here around Roanoke?
About a 5-hour trip, isn't it?
5.5.
Yeah.
If I drive, it's 5 hours. If Olin drives, it's 7.
No, not quite that bad. But we will stop. He won't stop.
Yeah, as clubs go,
He won't stop.
support each other. We're going to try. Brian and I and several others in the club. We've already discussing about going to other clubs and pulling different places because you guys come to us. I've personally never been to Maryland Pool. I'd like to look at your schedule and entertain that. It just takes support from everybody to make all this stuff work. The bracket pool, that kind of, I don't want to say put us on the map, but that gave our club a lot of interest. And why,
There you go. What's that?
we all like pulling,
Yeah, man, ride's been reserved.
to do something different, like the bracket, it's something else fun with the tractor. The team pulling thing. I didn't make it the first time they had that at Chatham. Look forward to it this year, but it's something different. So the whole double tree pulling, I don't know anything about that. Slow 3 mile an hour, 4 mile an hour stuff that might be cool, and I've heard of people trying to do it faster than that. But just something different. Always, kind of looking around that corner and seeing what's around that corner and what you can do. I think Richard said something about why would you want to go to a big pull, or we've got guys in our clubs that pull with us, pull every club pool, but they won't come to Chatham and pull. And I understand that. A lot of people don't like the bigger crowds, or they feel like their tractor's not good enough to pull there. We have classes for everybody, and that's kind of not the case. But Brian and I talk all the time about pulling and tractors and what it means to us. We like the whole going to the pool, talking to the people, the trip there, the stopping and getting something to eat, the hanging out. In my mind, tractor pulling is something we do when we get there. We enjoy the whole trip, the whole going, the whole everything to do with tractors. And I don't know, it's fun to me. I like tractors, all kinds. I've owned everything but Alice Chandler's, and I just hadn't run across the right one. But I personally just like anything to do with the tractor, and if it's something new that we could try, or we're always open to suggestions on what we can do to better what we do, and we just try to make it all fun. Everybody wants to win. They show up with anticipation of winning, and when you don't, it's not the end of the world. You got to see an old guy you hadn't seen in 2 or 3 years, or you got to see a neat, setup on a tractor that you never thought was, possible. I took an old friend of ours that pulls at all our club pulls to White Pine this year. And he had predominantly, just been to club pulls and some central pulls and stuff like that. And he was overwhelmed. He couldn't, to see that many good tractors in one spot and to see all the technology and what people are doing, and it was just overwhelming. He was on the parking lot taking pictures of everything and just loved it, and look forward to taking him back again. But to get out to a big pull and just see everything, there's nothing wrong with staying at your little clubs and pulling there. Nothing wrong with that at all. But till you branch out and see something, see how somebody else does something, or see a big pull and be a part of that, it's overwhelming. I mean, it's really a good feeling. And like I say, the feedback we've had with Chatham and all, we just every year. So
They can.
All right. Speaking of traveling and learning new things, bracket pulling was kind of brought about by that. In the history of bracket pulling, I'm gonna give a little mini class on bracket pulling. Good friend Mike Hitchens said, "Oh yes," for the first time. I don't know if I've done it on this show yet, but you've heard it.
You haven't done it on this show. It's
The rest of them might not.
I got him.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Friend of mine, Mike Hitchens said to me one day, Olan, I think we ought to go to Beaver Springs. I said, well, where's Beaver Springs? I'm still not sure where it is, but it's near State College, PA, in the Northern Territory.
Middle of
It's
nowhere.
about a good 5 hours away. I took Richard there. He asked where's Beaver Springs at, and he found it eventually. It's up there.
It's
But
up there.
so he said, we're going to go up there. We're going to bracket pull. And I'm like, well, what's bracket pull? Well, you're going to pull against another tractor. And there's the Mike Hitchens in the picture at the top. And we're going to pull against another tractor in these groups and move on through. But then he said, we're going to rope walk for a speed horn, which was a new experience. But anyway, so we did the bracket pull, and then I arrived in Tunica, Mississippi later in the year, and I was talking with Brian Lively. Brian Lively did an article in the Hook magazine, and then it was a 2-page article, how to do bracket pulling. Casey Greenlee picked it up and did it in White Pine. The following year, Boone's Mill Southwestern did it. And after that, it pretty much become a standard in tractor pulling. So why do you travel? Well, you go experience these new things. Why do you talk about it? Because it becomes part of something. And so seeing all that happen, we see the necessity of these podcasts to explain these things. It's got to help tractor pulling in its entirety. You know, we have the baddest G competition going on right now, somewhere in Tennessee. Hopefully, we can bring one of them to our area at some time. It would be probably baddest 2-cylinder, baddest 4, and baddest 6. We did that one time with you all in Chatham. We had a great time. You never know; it might come back again. We'll see. What did you say, Richard?
I had a great time.
I had a great time.
Richard can't make a decision.
See,
I had to go
there
there.
just has to be that one. In every crowd, there has to be that
I
one.
had to go there.
It cost you.
No, actually, it didn't. You know why it didn't? Because that's still a memory and a story for a bunch of people for the next 20 years.
But it made a man from Michigan very happy.
Yes, it did.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Michigan come to Chatham, and it made him a very happy man that day, and he laid a good hook down. So, can't argue that.
Nope, not at all. That's tractor pulling. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
You know, we've seen in your bracket pulls in Boone's Mill, the tractors that won it have been from all over the place, haven't they?
Yep.
Thank you for one. All the way up the East Coast.
Yeah.
Sideways.
Tennessee, Roger, Casey in Tennessee. Roger, where's Roger from? What state?
New Hampshire.
I'm pretty, like I say, I'm
He's up
pretty sure
in the
he's from New
Northeast,
Hampshire.
yeah. New Hampshire, I
Yeah.
believe. Yep.
And now I believe that tractor's in North Carolina, is it?
Yep.
Yep.
You'll
And
see
it'll
it,
be
Chatham.
coming back to Chatham, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir.
to give you a scope of how far tractors come to get to Chatham, it's pretty amazing.
Canada.
I think Gary Sanders from Canada might come. That's a Canadian Quebec tractor that's in Florida right now. He might make the circle and come back. I'm not sure yet.
You know, there's one thing to add to the bracket pulling. The bracket pulling get you introduced to pullers that you might not have met.
That's
You know,
true.
In a bracket pull, I want to know who I'm pulling against, and I think everybody does. And win, lose, or draw, you go shake your hand, and that builds friendships.
Yeah, and bracket pulling, that's how I met Brian Rutrough, doing a bracket pull. He walked up to me after we got done and introduced himself. Up till then, I did not know who he was. And we've been together talking ever since.
Well, the only thing I can remember about that is when I told the group that I was with who I got, they said, you may as well pack your bags, you're done.
We've been there before.
Yeah. But, I don't know it would be quite so easy of a draw this time. Next time I pull against Brian, it won't be an easy draw.
Well,
He's not an easy draw anymore
Depends
at all.
depends on if he's on the red one or the green one.
I don't know. That red one's pretty bad. Tell him what happened to Tunica. on that little red one.
We
It was pretty.
Put Roy, which is Danny, our president's brother, on it, and I think that was only, from what he told me, that was only his second time of pulling. And if I'm not mistaken, out of 100 plus tractors in the class, he was in the top 5. And he just, the smile he had on his face was worth it all.
And in another class of 88 tractors, I put a driver on my tractor, and Brian drove his. My tractor placed second, and Brian placed third. It was only an inch or so between the two of them in an 88 tractor class. So I'd be concerned where Brian was at anymore, because he's dangerous little on, especially that new little red one. The red one I had said, you see that?
Yeah, apparently that red one, from what the comments I've been reading, is a midlife crisis.
I ain't heard the word John Deere all night. Not defended anyway.
Well, I seen him make some good passes in Tenneco with the green one too now.
I seen him make some real good passes in Chatham with the green one last
I
year.
did do that. And them John Deere's come pretty tough in different colors too. Look at Jaden with a black one. You know.
So, Greg, to answer your question, I don't know how. I'm not this phone savvy, so I'll just I guess our next biggest thing to Chatham on September the 16th, we're going to have a bracket pull at the Franklin County Rec Park. That's our fair, and we'll do another 64 bracket, and we'll do, if time allows, which normally it does, we'll do something after that, so everybody's not just traveling for 1 or 2 hooks. So but other than that, we have, I think, 8 regular pulls scheduled. So, and that'd be a good one. The 16th would be a good one for EE Pulling to come down to.
On the 16th?
Yeah, September.
That's the weekend of Frederick, Maryland.
You gonna have to get your sidekick and show them how to use a camera, then, JR.
Oh, I've got help. It's noted.
Olan and Richard, have y'all ever tried to put on a larger scale pool like Chatham or Harrisburg or White Pine or anything like that?
We have done that in the past, and location and help have hindered us a bit in the past. All right.
Okay.
And we might go back and try it again. We have actually rented a building with a roof on it. And Greg was at that pool and tried to do a real big one, and it turned out okay. Down Delaware State Fair at the fairgrounds, we've done that before. We tried outside pool, done some big ones outside, had some rain issues. We got wet. And then other times, trying to run 2 sleds, we overwhelmed their registration department, and it made delays. So we've had some growing pains along the way, trying to work through that, and we're with enough help too a lot of times to make it happen. So to answer your question, we've done some of that, and then we didn't always come up well in it. So a lot of times we've decided to be supportive of other ones that are doing it. And here we are, we're trying to be supportive of your pool, some of the pools to the north, and different other ones. We found that was probably the best thing we could do at this time.
Yes, sir. Well, we always,
What'd you say?
we always appreciate seeing you guys come down, all the Pennsylvania guys, Maryland, all of them down the East Coast. You know, you know, we have, you know, the stuff in the spring, you know, you got some of the bigger pulls in the fall. I just wonder if, you know, maybe mid-year sometime, you know, up you guys' way, June, something like that, to try to get something together. You know, we've got up and down the East Coast. I mean, it's, you know, antiques are, of course, all over the world. And but the class of tractors that are up and down the East Coast are getting better all the time. I mean, you know, you've got, like I said, we just introduced a 16.9 top cut tire rule in our A class. And, you know, a little bit of mixed feelings about that. You know, I didn't, you know, some of the older guys in our club, we didn't want to, you know, cause any ill feelings with them, but we hope it's gonna bring to what we do. You know, that's, you know, we've had some positive feedback on that tire rule. But we'll just have to see how it shakes out come pull time. But yeah, I just wondered if you guys had anything up that way, or, you know, done anything on a bigger scale that we didn't know anything about. You know, and location, you know, you guys, I know, Brian, we were talking today about how to get to you guys. You know, it's you know, but I didn't know if you know, there was something more west, I guess you'd say, some sort of bigger complex that, you know, maybe you could try to do something up that way, you know, mid-year or something. You know, that was just my thoughts today. But
and that's a good question. But we have actually found that it's much better for Antique Tractor Pulling for us to go be supportive and other locations and do it that way for right now.
Okay.
Right. So that's what we've been doing. We go be supportive. East Coast Tractors is a force to be reckoned with. And when you see them travel and leave home, they're generally a very competitive tractor. When they show up in various locations, you'll see it. I think it's unknown. The northern tier of Pennsylvania is a very competitive area. I think Craig Armour said one time on Facebook, a guy got on there and said, you know, I've had a very busy year on Facebook. He said, I've done 27 hooks. And Craig Armour might be watching. He might correct me. Greg might correct me. And I said, and Craig got on there very common Craig Armour style. Said, I did 27 hooks this week during the third week. That's getting some pulling done. And I think you have a part, Craig Armour's in the tailing video coming up at the end of the show here. You'll see him. Respect the wicker bill. That's what I'll tell you if you want to go pull against them. Respect them. It's a good tractor, good driver. Quite a privilege to go north to pull against them tractors of that quality, and the group that pulls against them regularly. They're all very good. You'll find them in many places. You'll find them in Washingtonville. You'll find them Jerry Quiggle's bunch up there to track run. Amazing bunch. It'll be raining when you get there. You say, no way we're going to pull. Next thing you know, an hour later, you're going down the track. I have never taken Richard to a place called Sullivan County Fair, Forksville. Track got a turn in it. You have to make a turn going down the track to get to the end. Don't cut it short, you end up in a sand trap. You know, I'm sure my Northern PA pullers watching know exactly what I'm talking about. I took Lawrence Heyman up there one time, and he walked into the track, looked at it, and looked at Mike Hitch and said, what in the world has Olan got me into? Had a great time. These variants are what is exciting in tractor pulling.
Wow.
how many, Olan and Richard, how many club pulls do you all have in a year's time?
This year, there's 8 scheduled. We normally run anywhere from 8 to 10.
Okay. What classes do you guys have? I mean, mile per hour and tires.
Many.
From 3 mile, from 3 mile an hour to 17 mile an hour if you're under 10,000 pounds, and 12 mile an hour if you're over 10,500
like
pounds.
60 some classes, isn't it?
There's well more than 60 some classes when you get through all the divisions. Basically, anything from all the way up to a classic tractor to almost you brought your field tractor and bolted a set of wheelie bars on it.
Wheelie bars, absolute.
And that's from 3,000 pounds to 14.5.
Okay.
And they will look at your wheelie bars. Believe me, they will watch your wheelie bars.
I got a good question here, real quick, guys. I'll let you guys ponder on this question real quick.
Oh no, we ain't answering that one.
I can't read it, so.
The question is, who do you think the best antique tractor puller in the country is these days?
Per pull, that changes.
That's a very good answer. That's a very good answer.
Per pull, it changes. And even a very good puller has a bad day. And every track has its favorite setup. And if you watch bracket pulling, a lot of times what you think is going to do well is not always the case of what does well in the track, and the weight in the day changes who the final outcome of who the best puller is that day.
Well, and even further past that, to ask a question of who the best antique puller is, that seems like a simple question, but it's not. In the world of antiques, the 3.5 guy, there's one of those. The 6 mile an hour guy, there's one of those. 8 mile an hour guys and girls, they're out there. So there's no way to really answer that. I don't think. It's more which one's the best that day, which one's the best in that class. And I've met a lot of guys that do really, really well at 3.5 mile an hour. And if you put them on a 6 mile an hour tractor, they'd be in the back of the pack, even with a tractor that was just first the class before. It really does vary that much. Therefore, the answers would vary that much.
It takes more finesse to go slow than it does fast, I believe. I think speed
That is a fact.
Things. You take a good 3 mile an hour guy, and man, they can pull. They can hook a tractor. Speed overcomes a lot of things.
What's he saying?
You said too many.
Too many.
There's too many.
There's too many to choose from. Really.
But when you go to the larger pulls, you get to see them all stack up. And the thing I love to be trackside at a big pull and watch. And when you see 20 tractors or 30 tractors run down the track, and you see one go down there, and you see it make a great hook, you're like, that's like 100% textbook perfect. And you're like, I seen all I needed to see. And then 2 tractors later, one comes down the track and puts 10 foot on that. You're like, how did you do that? And you get to see this at these big pulls, this what you thought was textbook perfect be just run right past by another tractor. And it's wonderful to watch because the classroom is going on right while you're there. It's live action.
More point to that, when it comes to who's the best or who's one, I agree totally. There's just too many to choose from, and there's too many divisions. But it's also sometimes not necessarily the guy that's always finishing first. I've been to pulls where you watch a guy or a girl start, and for instance, we start on Friday night, and out of 33, you're 23rd, 24th. But time you're 3 hooks in, you went from 23rd or 24th to 2nd or 3rd. That's the people that really know their tractor, really know how to change their setup, really know how to make what they're running work for where they're at. And that's a very underrated and underappreciated skill. And if you're like Olan said, if you're at bigger pulls and you watch that happen, it really is when you see the things they've changed, whether it be tire pressure, where they're putting their weights, it really is kind of awesome to watch.
Small tire pulling is probably the most. It's slow. It's 3.5 mile an hour on small tire. But what you can do with them and the variants that happen during a small tire pull. Sometimes you'll see a 16.934 on the track. Other times you'll see a 14.938 on the track. Now, how could something seem so small? There's only a few cubic inches difference in the two tires. But the way the tire grabs the track, the width of the tire, the way it's whether it's on a 6-cylinder or 4-cylinder or a 2-cylinder, that particular day, that tire can really make that tractor go. On another day, it doesn't do much. With the sharp aggressive or you run a fire
You're on the way out again.
That particular
But we are at an hour and 10 minutes to begin with. But
it's we can stop.
no, I want to at least go back around the table and get everybody's at the very least final thoughts. Nothing else. Nicole, you haven't done much talking. I'm sure you'd like to get a little more in.
I'm good.
Nicole's like, not really. I'm good.
She's fighting internet issues.
So have we been all night. But we would still like to say thank you for being here and
There they are. You're back.
Brian.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Brian, on late notice, thank you.
Yes. Thank you both for being here. I've really enjoyed the conversation. We will certainly see you in a little bit. Man, it's an hour and 15 minutes.
So
we're good.
A fighting internet. What do you want me to tell you?
Man, you're right, Olan. He's never happy.
No, he's okay.
Always happy.
You'll get used to him as time goes on.
I know if I don't rein Olan back in, you'll look back up and the clock will say 2 hours.
There you go. And besides, we want to see that tailing ending that you had made earlier today. It's beautiful.
We'll see. We'll see it here shortly. I kind of like the beginning.
I like that weight drop part myself.
Before my phone dies and Rutrough gets off, are you in on the fajita bets or what, big boy?
Yeah.
There we go.
You never know. It might get to be a bigger betting circle.
Again, that's what this is for.
That's it. Absolutely.
JR, Brian, thank you again. Nicole, I hope even through the internet you've had fun.
We got a dead battery coming.
We do got a dead battery, so.
Okay.
So, good night, everyone. JR, play the trailer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for
Thank you.
having us. We'll see you
Trying to
soon.
tell me we're out.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, guys. While everybody's doing their thing here, I'm going to go ahead and give a closing statement here. Thanks, everybody. This is their first time. They're not their first time, but their first show. Many more to come. Leslie Foster says, I've had LW has some fun days at Simpkins Farm and had good pizza. Who knew?
Yeah.
Taco
Taco pizza.
Oh, Lord.
Wow. But anyway, if you guys want to hang in there for a few minutes, we'll go ahead and draw this to a close. I'll go ahead and play the outro. And the chat was pretty busy. I shared as many of them as I could. So good start, guys. I mean, it doesn't show everybody that's in here, especially those coming in from Facebook. So I'd say it was a pretty good deal here. And we're looking at next month, I guess. We'll obviously put a thing out, a time and a date whenever it'll be 7:00, but whenever these guys get something arranged, I think you say Greg Remley's coming next. So when that's all said and done, after Keystone and the Harrisburg Antique Pool, that's probably when we'll do another show here. So lots to talk about.
We'll probably have one. We'll probably have one of the Southwesterner talk about how the pool went in the winter.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. You guys hang in there for a second. We're going to go ahead and call it a night. And thanks for joining us. And be sure to give these guys a thumbs up and tell your friends to come back and watch it. It's available to watch from now till eternity. So come and support them.
Infinity and beyond.
You bet. Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
And there it went.
And
Just like I said.
now you're still on.
That's right.
All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.